I don't typically do content gear creation tips on my channel, but I do long-term tech reviews. These are some devices that I've been using for the past 6 months maybe. I just want to give you guys some tips if you're trying to improve your content creation game, or if you're just looking for somewhere to start. This should even have, with this little motion here, it should have motion tracking for my eyes. And also it is very windy out here. I'm using the microphone that I'm going to talk about, and we'll see how it sounds in the wind here. It's got a little windsock. And I'll talk a little bit about some software that you can use for free that is very good and I use myself. So let's get into it. So first I want to talk about this USB-C mic. It is very cheap. I think I got it for like $25 or something like that. And it comes in a little case here. And there are actually two microphones. So if you're doing like interview style content, then you can clip one to each person. It does have a little clip that I can kind of pop here. But it also has a little USB receiver, and everything charges within this case. So one USB-C kind of plug there, and everything is charging within. It's got a little kind of meter here for the battery. And this is versatile because you can use it on your phone or your laptop. I'm not 100% sure if it would work with a USB-C camera input. That might be very camera specific. So I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not 100% sure. My camera does not have USB-C, so I can't try it. But yeah, for sub $30, I will compare it to like the Hollyland Lark M2 that I have, which is a much more expensive mic. So you can kind of get a comparison there. The nice thing is this has USB-C, and the receiver that's on the phone also has a USB-C pass-through. And that is nice if it's running low, or if your phone's running low, you can just charge it with an external battery bank. It has the wind protection too with the little sock on it. I will say you should just generally, if you're going to be recording like voiceover, you probably want to do it in a more treated environment, which is something that doesn't have a lot of kind of walls and like hard surfaces that are bouncing sound off of. You want something that's a little more dampened, like a room that's more dampened, or even a closet if you're just doing voiceover. That's a cheap little hack for you. For the price, I think it's a really good microphone in general. And there is a slightly more expensive version. I think it's like $33. So I don't have that one, but maybe I'll buy that to compare this to someday. But this is very compact. The battery life's been good. I've never had it die on me, and it connects right away. And it's got the little magnetic chargers that can go in there. So now I do want to try it on my laptop, and we will compare it to the Hollyland M2 so you can get a little perspective of something that's like 10 times the price. All right, so now I'm coming to you on the laptop with the wireless microphone. It is incredibly windy, as you can see out here, and this actually connected right away to the laptop. I didn't need to change any settings. I double checked just to make sure. But now we're gonna change to the Hollyland Lark M2 so you can get an example of what something that's significantly more expensive is like. And it's getting very bright out here now. All right, and now I have the Hollyland Lark M2 here, which is a higher quality, significantly more expensive microphone. And right now we're in the normal mode. I'm going to now also turn the... Now it should have noise cancellation, I believe. So we'll see if it picks up difference. There's a scooter going by, you can probably hear. And this is now without the noise cancellation. Okay, so now I want to go a little bit into this gimbal here, the JC Robot. So it folds up compactly, as you can see, kind of like this, and then it just pops out. And this little carry bag they give has two little accessories. And this is the kind of AI tool here. And then this is kind of an extension grip. And it is also doubling as a tripod here, as you can see. So essentially, your phone, there's a little kind of direction here. I'm not going to clamp my phone because I'm recording on my phone there. But when you clamp it in, you then turn it on. You'll see it auto levels. So now it's straight. And then the cool thing is if you tap this button, it rotates 90 degrees, and this will work with the phone. And I have a pretty big phone. It's about 230 grams, and it works fine and also fits the size here. And so then you have a joystick control here. You can rotate that way. And there's also a little trigger here. The trigger, you can download the app and use that to start and stop recording, but I've never found that I really needed that. So the nice thing about this that I actually really like is that you don't need an app, right? The AI camera here, if I turn this on, there's little buttons down here. I can rotate it. The cool thing is you don't need an app because this is actually just a little camera here. And so for the face tracking, for example, it is just looking at you, detecting your eyes when you do a little signal, and then it's just tracking without an app. So it works with pretty much any phone, which is nice because it's not relying on the phone's camera for the tracking. And then the nice thing here with the light, there's 3 different color temperatures and 3 different levels, as you can see. And that is just nice for fill lighting. For product shots, it's really good and just has been very, very useful. There's a 4-meter little battery gauge here. The battery life I've found pretty good. I've actually run this thing for probably like 3 hours consecutively and it was fine. Then there are different modes here. So you can have like FPV mode and you just change those by the M button here. So a lot of versatility. There's also a kind of zoom function here, forward and back, and that you will need the app for, obviously, because to control your phone's camera, you do need that function. And then you can always just click this and reset it straight or reset it to the side. And then this is something really cool that I discovered. I was filming a friend's DJ event and just one little light wasn't enough. And you can turn your phone light on too. That's another tip is you can actually, most phones now, you can turn the camera light on while you're recording. And so in conjunction with that and this, you could get pretty decent lighting, but the light on your phone is pretty harsh. And so if you're like shining it on people, it's a little annoying. So what I found is this little aperture. I can pop off the standard screw and then check this out. I can pop this on the bottom if I can even screw it in. Right, like this, and then tighten it. And then, let me turn it on. Turn the light on. That's on its brightest setting. And this is now on the brightest setting too. And so, I mean, look at this. Like, imagine my phone's here, put it horizontally, and now I have really good fill lighting from the bottom and a little bit on the top. And this is a setup that I used in a pretty dark scenario just with my phone. And I'll show you a little bit of footage, but it turned out pretty good, all things considered, for a relatively inexpensive setup like this. All right, so we are now in Resolve here. And this is a little audio clip I want to show you. So you'll hear there was, like I mentioned, there was a good amount of wind noise. So let me play this. I think I got it for like $25 or something like that. You hear right there? So there was a little kind of ruffle of wind noise. And so this is a pretty simple hack here that's built into the free version of Resolve. And so what I'm going to do over here in Resolve, this is your editing timeline here. If you go over to the little music button here, this is what's called, I believe it's called Fairlight. And this is the music kind of audio editing section. And you can go into effects here, go down to restoration, and add noise reduction. Now, this is all stuff you can play around with and have it sound better, but you can also go auto speech mode, and then let's close this out. This is a little more pro features, so just do as I'm saying here, and it should be pretty simple. So I backtrack here. I think it was at 46 seconds that it happened, so watch now. I got it for like $25 or something like that. And it comes in, so it's still there, but you can see it lessened the kind of wind muffling in the back. And this is also good just for kind of background sounds in general. It's not just for wind noise, but that's a good little tip with this microphone if you are getting a lot of noise and you want to do a little reduction. And like I said, you really need to reduce a lot of noise, you can play around with those settings. I would just recommend doing some Googling and fine-tuning those, because you're probably not going to understand what these are from the get-go. All right, and now I want to show you this little clip here that I took just with my phone, because obviously the gimbal is in the shot, and I'm going to play it. I don't typically do content gear creation tips on my channel, but I do long-term. So it's kind of just a pan up, as you can see, and it's obviously not the smoothest because it's handheld and it's just from my phone. So what I'm going to do is, in the editing timeline here, you click on the clip and then go over here. There is a stabilize button. So I'm going to hit that. You'll notice it might crop in a tiny bit, but this is, there's warp stabilizer in Premiere if you are using Premiere, and then Final Cut probably has a similar version of that. You see it cropped in a little bit there. And so now when I replay the clip, I don't typically do content gear creation tips on my channel, but I do long-term tech. You'll see it'll just be smoother and almost look like you did it on a gimbal. So that's a little tip for you as well. This clip is the intro, so you can go check that out if you want. And so I'd highly recommend using DaVinci Resolve. If you are going to use, if you're doing more reels and stuff and you want more vertical content, then I would recommend CapCut. That's kind of a good industry standard right now. But hope this was helpful for you. This microphone and this gimbal, I think, are really invaluable tools to up your content creation game, whether you're doing like product stuff or you just need something to be your gimbal that can track you. Or if you need an interview style thing, then this is great too, the microphone. So it's just a really versatile set. But anyways, I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.